Hi, Adiash73 here with part 2 of my crash time walkthrough. This is a continuation of the beginner's luck achievement. Beginner's luck is case 1. This time we're covering missions 5, 6 and 7. So we're straight into mission 5 here, where you're driving the Jeep. First thing to point out is don't overshoot this first turn in like I did. The embarrassing thing is that I do it twice. Oh dear, never mind. But getting back to the walkthrough as it is, again, as with all the walkthroughs in this series, if you don't need to see the footage for this particular mission, check out the description on the YouTube channel, and what you'll find there is little jumps within the description to the various missions within each part of the walkthrough. So if you just need to skip through, or just there's one that you're stuck on in particular, just check that out and that will save you having to watch the entire video. Now the objectives of this mission are that you're required to do 12 jumps and no more than 10% damage. Now you see as I go over the jump there, I get a perfect jump. That's because on the speedo at the bottom I take off and land on the green arrow and I'm lined up correctly. Here I'm at the right speed, but I just don't land perfectly on the off ramp, so I don't get a perfect. I only score one jump. In the bottom left you can see I'm currently on 5. So as you approach this jump, try and be on the green arrow on the speedo, get up and down perfectly, and you get a jump, perfect jump, and you get 2 points. Now getting to the 12 points total is easy. There's no time restriction on this race, so it's just a case of getting around the track without doing too much damage to your vehicle. All in all, very straightforward. But as with all the videos in the solution, I haven't sped up any of the footage. I've just kept the raw stock footage in here, because you never know, there might be some people that get stuck, and I didn't want to have any sped up footage in any of this walkthrough, although I have done that in the past. So there I clip a couple of the small posts. Again, it all adds to the hitting 1000 that you need to do for the crash drive achievement. Again, I picked up a nice few there. This is a good one to pick up those smashables in, because there's no time limit. You can just plod along at your own speed, try and collect as many as possible. What I found is that I tried to go for them in this type of mission because I wanted that achievement done and out the way. I didn't want to be worrying about it as I got through the game and the missions themselves became a bit more difficult. So there we are, that's lap 1 done. We're on to lap 2, exactly the same thing as before. Again, don't miss the turn-in like I did twice, how embarrassing. Just progress round. So I got 7 jumps on my first lap, that means I need to get 5 on the second lap. Should be more than achievable. You just have to make sure you do get a few perfects, that way you double up your score. Shouldn't be any issues at all. So coming up to this jump, I'm a bit over speed, but because I land perfectly, I get the 2, the jump and the perfect jump. You should find you're able to do exactly the same thing. This is a good one to get practice in on the jumps, because there are a couple of missions later on that require you to do a bit more jumping, and it's a bit trickier. One of the later missions is definitely a lot harder than this nice introduction to the jumps, so to speak. Another perfect jump combo, and that pushes me over the required 12 limit, which is quite handy, because as I come round here and approach the next jump, things go a bit wrong, massively over speed, try and brake to correct, and it all goes wrong. So this is how not to do it. I've left this footage in because it's part of the footage that I got through to past the mission, so it's not as if I wanted to get rid of it. I reset my vehicle by pressing the back button, and that just sent me back further down the track. So I'm not the world's best racer. As you can see, I do make mistakes, I clip cars, I make silly mistakes, but as long as I get through the mission I'm happy, and I'll include that footage in here to embarrass myself for years to come. So again, we're getting down to the road section. Again, plenty of opportunity if you want to pick up the little posts on the side of the track. Nothing too difficult about this bit. Again, just getting close to the end. You do seem to race on the same pieces of track. I've noticed that quite a bit in this game as I've played through more of it, so you will get familiar with the tracks. Again, some silly mistakes, but no need to worry. Very close to the end, no reason not to do it now. And there we are, over the finish line, and it's all over.
I'm on him. I'll call you back.
Here we are into mission 6, the penultimate mission, and it's a nice straightforward one. All you've got to do is just follow the vehicle with the green arrow. On the left hand side you've got the min and max distance. You're not allowed to get it either too close or too far away. Very, very straightforward.
Chris, Samir, the suspect has stopped at a cash machine.
Now that's what I call suspicious. Guess we'll call ourselves a cab.
There we are, a sample of the great quality voice acting. Very, very cheesy, but I quite like it. I've played many of the Crash Time games. I've played number 2 and number 3, the Euro versions of those, and enjoyed them. They're not the best racing games in the world, but they're quite quirky, quite enjoyable. With this type of mission you shouldn't really have any problems at all unless you have a major accident. They do tend to pull out quite a stretch, as you can see there on the autobahn, so just make sure you don't let them get too far ahead. But you shouldn't really have any major problems on this type of mission. There are several more of this type later on in the game. Again, exactly the same type of thing. And again, very, very straightforward. But I would say that the difficulty of some of these follow missions in the later ones are a bit more difficult. You're in slightly different cars and the cars you're following are quite a bit faster, so you just have to be aware and be on it and not let them get too far ahead, otherwise you will end up with a couple of mission fails and then you've got to retry again. But in the early days in this first part you shouldn't really have too many issues. At the time of recording this, I'm currently about 3/4 of the way through all of the cases. I've come back to retrospectively create these walkthroughs and just get the cap processed. As you can see here, I'm taking the opportunity to collect more of the smashables. What you'll find is that it will count the smashables on all of your retries. As I've said before, some of these missions will require a few retries to get. Definitely in the later cases where it does become a bit more tricky. This mission does take quite a while to complete. That blue van takes you on a merry old dance across the world, but just see it as an opportunity to, you know, drive around, collect more of these little posts to count towards your crash drive achievement. It also gives you a bit of exposure to the world and the roads themselves, because you do, as I've mentioned previously, race on quite a few of the same bits of road over and over again. That's what I've noticed anyway as I've progressed through the game, so it's quite handy to know where a couple of the tighter corners are, because in the later missions where it does become a bit more difficult, the time constraints are a bit tighter and you know you probably want to try and get through with as few retries as possible. It's quite handy to know where the snarly bits of the track are. All of the footage in this walkthrough comes from the NTSC version of the game. It is available as an NTSC and PAL version. The games themselves are stackable. What that basically means is you can get 1,000 points, gamer score points from the NTSC version, and a separate 1,000 points from the PAL version. That's particular interest to me because I do like to score as many racing game genre points as possible. I'm quite well placed in the world in terms of racing game genre gamer score, and also racing game completions. So the fact that I can play this and score 2,000 points from essentially the same game is a bonus to me.
Chris, Samir, the suspect is driving toward the hospital.
So we're coming to the end now. The hospital is the building you can just see. Don't worry too much if you do get too close, but try to avoid it. Once he pulls up, the mission's over. And now we're into mission 7, the final mission of case 1, beginner's luck. The purpose of this mission is to catch up and destroy a vehicle. You can just see him in the distance with the green arrow above him. It is time constrained. You can see that in the bottom left. And you can also see on the left hand side the distance marker and also the damage percentage. So once you've got him in your sights, what you want to do is try and get a good hit on him. Cause some damage. And then just really try and keep up with him and inflict as much damage as possible. So coming up here, I get another good hit on him and push him over the barrier, which is a bit frustrating. I fall over the barrier as well, but because this was the first attempt at playing this mission, I thought, oh, what do I do, what do I do? So I just try and hunt him down, just try and inflict more damage on him, and I do score a few more points of damage. But here I'm in a bit of a mess. I've got him on the other side of the barrier and me on one side, which was a bit of a problem. Now you will find that across the course of the game that does happen to you, and just as you saw there, the car disappears, that means he respawns. That will happen in other areas of the game later on. So if you do find yourself on the wrong side of the barrier with a vehicle you're chasing on the other side, don't worry too much, because it will respawn and you can keep going with the mission. You don't need to restart the mission from the start. It's particularly useful to know that if you're quite a few minutes into a longer mission and you get that sort of glitchy problem happen. So as you can see, I'm putting my foot down, I'm trying to catch up with him. Nice big hit, nice amount of damage there. And again, just applying the pressure, just keep applying the pressure, just keep on him. Did I say keep enough times there? And there we are, all damaged out. 3 for 60G. That's the easy, normal and hard achievements. There we are, the case closed screen, and also just the review screen that shows the hard badge pop-in. I hope you found this walkthrough helpful. By all means, check out the other walkthroughs in this series, or check out my channel for more content, including vlogs and solutions. Thanks for watching, and take care. Bye bye.